welcome everyone to the third episode in Rooted and Rescued. Today's episode, we are focusing on the realities of quarantine, and you're witnessing some of the realities right now, us just in the place of just silliness.
Yep. It's already been, what, a week?
Yeah.
2 weeks?
2 weeks. It's almost 2 weeks, which feels like 2 lifetimes at this point.
Yeah.
Feel like we know them so well, and at the same time we're just starting to get to know them and understand them and figure out what's going on with them. So we definitely want to share this experience with everyone. We want to talk about what quarantine is, like what the heck are we talking about here, as it relates to the sanctuary, just to set the scene here per se, for those of you who maybe this is your first time tuning in. 2 weeks ago, we went to an auction and we pulled 4 animals from the auction. We pulled a mini donkey and her baby, Bella and Tony. We pulled what we believe to be probably a full-size donkey.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
She's under 2.
Yeah, under 2, a little bit more on the underweight side, Frankie. And then we pulled a pony named Monty. And we're thinking about mid-teens. So they are actively in quarantine. We do not bring the animals back to the sanctuary right away. We'll talk about the reasons why we don't do that, why we have 2 separate places, and just run through the logistics and what the experience is.
Yep.
Sound good to you?
Yep.
Awesome. All right, well, I will start with the foundational question. What the hell is quarantine? Because I personally, even as a lifelong animal person, have never gone through that. Didn't know what that was.
What was your perception when we told you, hey, we got to do quarantine?
It was, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand quite just the challenges that go along with it, and just the attention and the detail and the precautions that you have to take.
Yeah.
And I think the framing of it, especially with all of us sharing a lived experience of going through COVID, why we do quarantine the way that we do, and the infectious diseases that we are trying to prevent from spreading to our sanctuary through it. So it made a ton of sense once I learned about it, but it was an unknown to me just how stringent we had to be in our protocols, and what the experience for the animals would be in that environment. I'd never witnessed that prior to last year.
Right.
So it was an experience I've never been through before. Now it feels like old hat.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little different. It's weird now kind of sitting here and being like, oh yeah, that was
quarantine. Yeah, because you've done 3 now.
3 now. Yeah.
What exactly was the question?
What is quarantine?
Okay, because I definitely put that back on you. So quarantine is, I always tell people, think about COVID. Like, think about when we quarantined for COVID.
Yep.
Essentially the same thing in terms of how easily transmittable the diseases are, why you have to quarantine for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
Our quarantine minimum is 4 weeks. We'll get into it, but some of the vet work that we do requires at least a 3-week timeline. So at least a 3-week timeline. So 4 weeks minimum. So quarantine is essentially a separate location to house animals that have come from situations where they could have contracted communicable diseases. So if it's from a farm down the road and you know the people and you've been there and the horses are healthy or the goats are healthy, chances are you don't have to quarantine. We always have, like even when we got Rico, the goat, he was quarantined not only because he was an Italian stallion,
quite literally,
but because we don't know if he has a disease that can be transmitted to the goat. So then we do testing on him. We did testing on Oakley. So they're all always quarantined because you don't know where they're coming from and what situations they're coming from. You could probably get away with it in some instances. It's a time where they can go through whatever they're going to go through. We can take veterinary tests. We can have precautions to see what transmittable, I don't know if it's transmittable or communicable diseases. Um, and then it prevents those from being transferred to some of the other animals.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of the diseases that goats have, if they have them, they're really, really intense diseases, and they'll have them forever. And
Oh, I
so,
didn't know that about the goaty goats.
yeah, so if they have it forever.
Okay.
And so we've tested the goats when they've come in to make sure they don't have it, because then if they have it, they transmit it to the other goats, and then they have it forever. Some sanctuaries, what they do is if they take those animals in, they're always essentially in a quarantine location.
Yeah.
Always. And so they'll feed them last, or they'll have different people feed them. Because of our space, we just choose that at this time we're not able to take some of those ones in. So right now, the way quarantine is it's set up off property, so that there is no way that we can transmit the diseases, the illnesses, to the main sanctuary animals.
Yeah. And when we talk about our quarantine space in particular, we are focused over there on the equine, right?
Mm-hmm.
You touched
Mm-hmm.
a little bit on of like, hey, all the animals when they come in go through some kind of quarantine
Mm-hmm.
process with us, just to ensure first and foremost the health and safety of the animals that are here. But when we talk about quarantine with I'm going to say the capital Q, that is mostly for that equine space that we have for equines that we know are coming from, and that could be donkey, that could be horse,
Mm-hmm.
mini, all those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mules. It's the space for them because there is, in particular, a disease that is very contagious, strangles. And it is something that we need to, when we talk about the negative tests, make sure that we have those
Mm-hmm.
3 negatives before
Mm-hmm.
they even come over here. And also, too, I think like energetically, especially with the quarantine space that we have now, giving them a space that is a little bit more remote, a little bit more in remote as it's 5 minutes down the road, but a little bit more out in nature.
Right.
Hopefully, just
There's
giving.
Not a lot of people.
There's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's not a
Yeah.
bunch of other animal energies around, and just letting them settle.
Yeah, it's like the decompression time before they come to the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like the transition time.
Yeah.
And I do just kind of want to put a little note out there that we just recently shared a video of our quarantine changes and how we started.
Yeah.
We started with a tiny little shelter made from pallets, and then we moved to a shelter made of tarps, and then we moved to a kind of an indoor stall, and then we moved to a farm just next door that had a big shelter with a little bit of dry lot. And then now, last year, we were donated 2 12 by 24 shelters with 500 feet of paneling, with limestone footing, and continual access to water being filled for us.
Yeah.
So it's honestly like a dream that I don't think we could have manifested better.
Yeah.
And it came out of like nowhere, and it's been amazing. And the land is also beautiful.
Yes.
Energetically too. So I do feel like it's that, like, we'll talk about it later, but like it's this space of like, what have I just experienced? Here's my decompression.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna take the next step. And I think that's also why the timing is so different for each group, because it depends on when they're ready.
Yeah, let's talk about that. What is the timing? What does that look like?
So, like I said, minimum of 4 weeks. One of the things that we do is right when they arrive, it's kind of like, how are you going to feed them? Do they need a lot of feed? Do they not need a lot of feed? Do you need to do like a feedback program? Should they not have alfalfa? Mm-hmm. Should they have grass? Like, you evaluate based on each animal. And then within a few days, as soon as we can, we have the vet out. And they do a full wellness exam, draw blood on everybody, temp everybody, check, like a whole full-blown wellness exam. So as an example, we were at the auction on Friday, and I called the vet and I was like, hey, we're at the auction. I don't know who we're pulling, but I know we're going to get somebody.
Yep.
I would like to make an appointment like first of the week. So I was like, okay, we got Monday afternoon. So then as soon as we got the 4, I called them back and said, hey, there's 4.
Yeah.
And when we got Frankie, and she was not putting the weight on the leg, I called them again and I was like, hey, I'm not sure if we need to do, an emergency visit. We kind of talked through it, and it was more or less like, she's eating, she's comfortable, she's sore, but keep the appointment for Monday, let her settle before we really start poking and prodding on her.
Yeah.
So then the swabs that we pull are for strangles.
Yes.
Which is essentially strep. And it's a strep bacteria. And so you kind of think about our strep, it's similar. But it's the issue that one of the reasons it's so contagious is it can create swelling in the throat, and then it will actually pus and open. And so I don't know if it's like the glands there that swell, or what is it there that swells to the point where it will pus open, and that pus is super contagious.
Okay.
And then the nasal discharge, if they have strangles, is also contagious, but it can go to something which is even worse, called bastard strangles. And so bastard strangles is essentially the abscess inside the body.
Oh, gosh.
So it will like abscess on organs, it'll abscess in the skin, it'll, under the skin. And so
just horrific.
It can be real bad and create scar tissue damage and things like that. So it's super contagious.
Yep. And
it can be really, really gnarly. Sometimes it's just like, oh, they blew an abscess, okay, woohoo, they're done, move on. But the swabs test if they have that bacteria present. And so when we say swabs, think like COVID testing, when you like shoved the
all the way up there in the nasal cavity.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
So we do that both sides 3 times, and if we get 3 negative tests, then that's kind of our like indicating factor that we can move them over.
Yeah.
But they may still have some other symptoms like diarrhea or coughing or nasal discharge. So we also watch for that, because it's not only strangles that we're concerned about.
And I was just going to say that it's not, strangles is obviously a primary concern, just given how contagious it can be, how damaging it could be, and how quickly it can spread through a population. But it's not the only thing that we're battling against, just because we don't know what we're getting. And you made that point before, like even when we think about the feed program or notifying the vet, those are things that there is no real pre-planning that we can do besides making some guesses, because we don't know what's going to be at the auction. We don't know what kind of condition they're going to be in. So it's hard to give any kind of indication to the veterinary team or to our team here of what that's going to look like until we bring those souls home.
Right.
And that's another topic for another podcast of how we make those selections. How do we make these impossible choices when we're at these? But there are, like you said, there's other things that are going on with the animals. I know one thing that is always impressed me is that we get all the baseline vitals. We want to know where they're at coming in, so that we can be very mindful in tracking their progress, besides the things that we can obviously physically see in what's being exhibited to us presently. But that evolves, and it sometimes evolves overnight.
Yeah. And even like, Frankie went from being lame, meaning she's sore and she doesn't want to walk, to then all of a sudden now she's coughing.
Yep.
And then not eating.
Yep.
So then it's, okay, well, are we dealing with pain? Are we dealing with sickness? What's going on? Now they all have a cough.
Right.
And when we brought Serafina and Cornelius home, they had a cough, and we kind of talked about the vet, and in like a easier description, it's kind of like a shipping fever. So from the shipping, from the auction, there's it's like a cold essentially. And so they have a cough, maybe they have a little fever, maybe they have a runny nose, but it's not necessarily strangles, but it's something where it still affects them.
Right.
And for Serafina, I think actually she was like sick. We had to do 3 antibiotic injections for her to get her through it. And that, I think, is why it took her and it's still taking her so long to put on weight. 1, she has a baby nursing, and 2, she has this illness that her body's still fighting, and her gut is getting repaired. And I don't know what happens besides nervous system trauma and nervous system connecting to the gut, but every animal that comes in quarantine, their gut has to be repaired in some aspect.
Oh, yeah.
Every single animal, and some more than others. Some still have the trauma of having their gut being repaired. So then that affects the immune system, and then you have this whole, then it affects absorption, and you have this whole...
We're fighting battles on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't know who we're even fighting against because it's not, it might be presenting as one thing, but it's truly another thing. And even with all the support that we have, again, it's, some of these things are long haul things, or as their bodies relax or become acclimated, or as they get on a nutritional feed program, maybe they've never been on one before.
Right.
And that's a whole bodily adjustment that's happening. I think about it sometimes of like when you have a serious injury, like I think about when I dislocated my shoulder, right? I dislocated my shoulder, I got care for that, right? I got care, I put it in a brace, but then all of a sudden I was having pains in my other shoulder, my other arm, because I was compensating, right? And so like there's, and this is not an exact like,
but like Frankie, for example,
it's,
she's going to have trouble with that other leg.
With the other leg
because she's compensating so much. Like once we can get this foot grown out, it's going to be massage and chiropractic and probably MagnaWave to getting her comfortable in that leg.
Right.
Because it's a hind leg, thank God.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know that we would have been able to do this with the front leg.
Yeah.
But I think to your point that also there's also I think this is one of the questions we were going to go over. There's also like characteristically, there's always kind of a fall before there's like so like you get this like, oh my gosh, we're safe, we're doing great, and then it's kind of like boom. You see a little bit of they almost deteriorate a little bit, and then they go back up, and that almost seems like that happens in every time, every situation.
Yeah.
And it's like you had said before, their nervous system is so fried from the experience of the auction and the trailering and whatever got them there.
Right.
That then it's like they're in survival mode once they get here, and they're like, okay, I'm eating, I'm good, I'm okay. And then it's like, wow, I'm really okay. And then the body kind of has to go through that like emotional switch, and you almost see that downturn. And we saw that with Serafina. She lost weight.
Yep.
And then you start to see them slowly climb back up. It's like a fake little, oh, we're good. Oh, we're not good. Oh, now we're actually trending upwards versus just surviving.
Right.
I think we've seen that in almost every quarantine. Every quarantine case.
Yeah, and it is the first time seeing it, just being like, oh my goodness, like we are providing them, pretty much round the clock care, veterinary care, introducing it in increments and things of that sort to make sure that their bodies, but like when you see that downturn, it can be very disheartening.
Yeah. Like right now, Monty, I think, is losing weight.
Yep.
But in the same breath, he's laminitic. So we can't just throw him on grass to gain weight. You can't just pump him full of a bunch of food to gain weight because he's laminitic. He can't have a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic. So for him, it's kind of like, okay, well, how do we get him to gain weight and keep him comfortable?
Yeah.
And he's having a farrier come out tomorrow, which we kind of try to avoid the farrier coming out during quarantine, because that's another question is like, then they're exposed to everything.
Yeah.
So then the farrier, their tools are contaminated, they're contaminated, their vehicle is contaminated. So they have to take protocol to make sure that wherever they go next or whatever they do next, now they have to decontaminate everything that they have. So sometimes they'll change clothes before they get back in, they'll clean their tools before they get back in the truck, they'll only bring out certain tools.
Yeah.
And that's something that is, I think a lot of people forget, is like whatever is there is now exposed.
Yep.
Whatever is there now needs to be washed or cleaned or sanitized or something. Whatever that is now is contaminating the next step. So like when we go to the auction, the truck and the trailer are cleaned.
Yeah.
Right when we get back.
Yeah.
Because the trailer is contaminated, the truck is contaminated, we're contaminated. So then we change before we get in our trucks, and we change our cars before we come to the farm. So it's just one of those things that, like, even when we're talking about packing up for the day. Okay, we're going to bring our food for lunch. We're going to have our food for dinner. Make sure you bring a change of clothes. Don't wear the same boots.
Yep.
Like, as you're getting ready for the auction.
On top of mentally preparing yourself and everything. Like, you're just like, you have to almost treat yourself as like this little contained unit.
Yeah, yeah.
And have all those things with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's wild.
It is wild.
It is, yeah. It's a lot of effort and a lot of work in order to make sure that we keep everyone safe and comfortable and surviving.
And thankfully this time, like before, we've had a skeleton crew for quarantine. It's been like 5 people.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. You're over there a lot. You're over there feeding extra times, you're over there taking temperatures, you're doing the vet care, different, meeting the vet, different things, farrier. And so now, thankfully, did we start with this in August when we had a bigger crew, or was it just Serafina?
I think last year, August, we
Yeah,
expanded.
yeah.
We had a bigger crew.
Like 10 maybe?
Yeah.
And that made so much difference.
Yeah.
And I think it's also really neat for people to be able to experience like the low of low.
Yeah.
And then be able to see where they come from. Like they're in the low of low. And so some of the volunteers now get to experience that.
Yeah.
From the animal being at that state to then bringing them to the sanctuary.
Yeah, seeing that full journey, and seeing where they're starting from, and real quickly, shout out to our volunteers, especially the ones, and we love all of them, but the ones that are out there doing quarantine, because
it's an additional shift
too. It's an additional shift, and it is, as we've talked about here, a lot of considerations, a lot of things that you have to do in order to stay safe. And a lot of additional care for the animals. And yeah, the folks that we have are incredible.
Yeah. And it's a different level of awareness. Like you're still looking to make sure everybody's eating and going to the bathroom and everything here normally. Right. But over there, you're watching like every little thing. Are they breathing differently? Yes. Do we think they have a fever? Are they walking differently? Well, like you're like, is she walking the same? Is she worse? Is she losing weight? So it's a whole nother level of scrutinizing them.
I have a feeling that a lot of people do this, but I know, like, when I pull up and I get out of my car, I literally stand at the fence and I watch and I make sure, first of all, everyone's there, everyone is standing up and everyone is walking around or doing something, and then I'm just observing them.
Yeah, because when you pull up and they're laying down, you're like, are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Are you resting?
You're resting?
What's happening?
Are you able to get up?
Yeah.
Are you stuck down?
Yeah.
Are we breathing? Okay, we are breathing. Are we breathing too heavy now? Are we laying on the ground and now we're huffing?
How long have we been laying? How many piles of laying down are there?
Yep.
And then you evaluate the manure.
Yes.
Who is it soft manure? Is it no, this is all clear. Oh, there's a pile of soft manure. Who has the soft manure? Who did it?
And then you're doing all your tasks, and out of the corner of your eye, you're watching for a tail to lift to see who's going to poop. And then you run over there, and you're like watching them poop. And
do we drink enough water? Why isn't water being drank?
Right.
Why didn't they eat hay today? Oh, it's 95 degrees. Nobody wants to eat when it's 95 degrees.
Oh, great. This bucket's turned over. Does that mean that it was empty and it got turned over, or it was full and we just drank it all and now it's time to refill it? Like, those mental Olympics.
All the time.
Yeah. Well, while we're now kind of on the lighter side of things, right? And we do want to talk about that, like, because there is a lot of joy, right?
Yeah.
That is in this and being a part of this experience. Yes, it can be nerve-wracking. It can be a lot going on at once, but there certainly are a lot of moments of joy and celebration. So that would be my question to you. Like, can you think of a time or a moment? It can even be recently. Obviously, things are top of mind with the crew that we have over there now that was just super rewarding to see.
But I think there's a couple.
Okay.
So right now with the group we have, would Tony be coming up to us?
Oh yeah.
Because he was wild in the beginning, and I was like, oh my god, we have another Irvin, a younger, wilder Irvin. Yeah. But now he's like the other day he was trying to nurse on Bella, and he was being rough. Yeah. And she was biting him.
Yep.
And so I went over and I was like, hey, you need to move. And he was just like, oh, you're touching me?
Yeah.
Okay, now you're touching me. So instead of running, he's like doing the donkey thing now, where he's like trying to rub on you and rub his butt on you.
Yes.
And like, so that's fun to see how they learn to trust you. And like some of the volunteers have said, like, you'll pull up and they'll talk to you when you pull up now.
They start singing.
Yeah. So I think, but more importantly, that there's two other times I can think of. So the very first quarantine, we had Nico and Nala in quarantine.
Okay.
And we had maybe it was like 6 round pen panels, because like this was one of our first rescues.
Yeah.
It was Irvin, goats, Kanali, Katori, Nico, and Nala. And so they were just out in a pasture that we had kind of just sacrificed a dry lot. Somebody was super willing to let their farm be used as a quarantine area. And we put a small little pen out there, and then we built a shelter for them out of pallets and plywood. And
see little baby angels. I'm thinking of them now, and they're like cushy little mini barn.
Yeah. And so that pallet shelter is actually what's behind SS2.
Oh, is it?
That Juniper was using. That's the pallet shelter.
Oh.
So first of all, Macy using a drill was amazing.
Oh
amazing.
Yes. Yes.
That was awesome. She did great. And so then what really was probably the best part though is they were both really nervous around people, right?
Yeah.
And so when we picked them up to bring them home, the guy twisted Nala's tail and like shoved her into the trailer and was like thrusting behind her.
I got like growly there. I got like super defensive of her.
It was so gross. It was so gross. So she is now like, F people.
Yeah.
We're not doing this.
Yeah.
So for a while, she did not want anything to do with us. So she started to come up to the pen and she started to like get little treats and she started to be curious and she started to trust us. One of the pictures we have is Nico actually rearing straight up in the air and pushing through the farrier because they had their toes were pretty long.
Yeah.
So best part though is they start talking, right?
Yes.
And so when donkeys aren't comfortable, they don't make noise. They're silent.
Yeah.
And so even Irvin had to learn how to use his voice.
Oh, they gave me goosebumps.
I don't know how long Nala had not been using her voice. So one of the volunteers was there and she goes into the barn next to the quarantine.
Yep.
And Nala does her voice. And it sounds like somebody is dying. Like a woman screaming, dying. To the point where it was night, right?
Yeah.
So she is like freaking out that somebody's out in the field dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
oh no.
Fast forward, it's just Nala screaming. So she gets here.
Yeah.
She's starting to talk, right?
Yep.
So they're in the dry lot. They're in the little 12x24s between the stall barn and the arena.
Yeah.
And Nala does her yell.
Yep.
Thing. And she does it as Bradley is walking in the hay barn door right down here.
Okay. Yep.
And he opens the door and it's nighttime.
Yeah.
And she doesn't scream. And he said he like slammed the door as fast as he can and like got ready to attack somebody because he thought somebody was like dying on the farm.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Nala.
just because like she didn't like know really.
Yeah.
And she still kind of has a crazy bray.
She reminds me now of like a tornado siren, like when it's like winding up, like she kind of winds up a little bit before she goes, and it like that wind up sound. I'm just imagining kind of like a warped version of that, like when she was finding her voice, and like that itself is like hilarious. It's like it's almost like your drunk aunt at a concert is what I think of. It's like
yes. I need to find the video. We have it on video of her outside the barn. I need to find it on
when
video.
She was like
she was yelling like a dying human. It was.
I need to see that. I don't think I have.
Oh my gosh!
And I want to make it like my like phone alarm or something. Like when I get calls, it's just not
spam.
Yeah,
spam calls.
Yes. There. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay.
The other one I would say is Josie starting to run in quarantine because of her leg.
Yeah.
And we were like, stop, you're being wild.
Yeah.
And she was like getting all excited and trying to like, and you know, you gotta stay quiet.
Yeah.
And then Catwoman, we ended up letting Catwoman go on like a 2-acre pasture, and her running on the pasture, like running like Catwoman, flying around.
Speed demon.
Was funny. And you'd put her on the lunge line and she would just buck and run and buck and run and buck and run. So some of those moments of like, they were in quarantine for like 3 months.
Yeah, that is just
in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
And that's something that we learned the hard way.
What were you all thinking?
We're not doing quarantine in winter again. Do not get animals in November.
No.
Because then you're quarantined November, December, January, and they came over end of January, beginning of February. Never again. Right. But I don't know that 95 and flies.
I was just gonna say
I don't think we're doing June.
Yeah.
June or July auction again.
Yeah, this June is, or oh my goodness, July. Yeah, is not. It has not been pleasant for anyone. It's just been a brutal summer. And for those of you who are listening that maybe not know where we are in Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. So Wisconsin has pretty humid, hot summers.
And they're just getting worse.
And they're getting worse. And this year has been the year of the fly.
Ugh.
And the biting fly. So it's been everywhere, but yeah, it's just been miserable.
Terrible.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, so those would be those
are great.
Yeah.
Great stories. And there's so many more. Like, we could bring volunteers on here. I mean, we could do just an entire episode of
funny stories of
funny
quarantine.
stories and stuff like that. The one that I'm thinking of for me that's just sticking out in my brain is with Bloom. And when we brought her, and when she was so weak in the back that we were trying to hand walk her and just get her to walk and walk around those pastures and bring her back. And I was out there with my mom, shout out Holly. And so I was like, okay, she was doing parts of quarantine. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take Bloom for her walk now. It was just when we were first doing it, and she was being so stubborn. Bloom was, unfortunately, she passed, but Bloom, she's over there, was, God, what, 17 hands?
Yeah, probably close.
Belgium mare, even in her weakness, was strong. I mean, it was like trying to move a SUV that didn't want to move, that was not neutral, was not helping you. And so, anyways, I tried taking her for a walk, and we get out the gate and we're walking around the pasture, and she decided to put the hard brakes on me.
Like, nah, we're not.
Oh, we're not doing this. And I am doing everything in my power to get her to walk. I am resorting to bribery, emotional appeal, like trying to, like, you know, move her head back and forth, get one foot to go and maybe the other one, getting it to encourage her. And my mom is cackling. I just full on cackling, because she's like, she goes, I am going back to when you were 5 years old and you were out in the pasture with one of our horses.
They're not moving.
And they're not moving. And she's like, and I'm just having this flashback of you just like rope over your shoulder, leaning, and like the determination. And my mom is just absolutely dying about it, because nothing I could do to get Bloom to walk.
She's like, you're funny.
You're funny.
Yeah.
So then my mom walks up to her and literally looks her in the eye and goes, from a mother to a mother, that was hilarious. Come on, we're going to go for a walk. And you know what she did?
She moved.
Just started walking. I was just like, oh, okay, we'll walk together. And the look over her shoulder that my mom gave me was just this, like, see? It was great. It was a great moment. I still laugh about it. I think she laughed a lot harder than I did about it, to this day. But then watching her and watching them walk together, and it was a beautiful evening on this beautiful property with the sun in the background, and watching this horse actually move.
You're like, she's moving.
She's moving.
Yeah.
You know, like it was pretty magical.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, because we were just like, you just need to walk. You just need to do.
You just need to do this.
You just need to do something. Get some inflammation down. Get some circulation flowing.
Yeah. And she did. She did a lap around. She was a good girl.
Bloomy Bloom.
I know. Our sweet angel.
Yeah.
So. Oh. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes with quarantine.
Yeah, there's so much that's unsaid too. It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, you could talk for hours about it, but it's a necessity. It's hard. It's hard work. It is hard work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Which is why we don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Because you have to drive, you have to get, it's off property. It's.
And these intentional auction pulls are just one of the many ways that we do rescue, right? Yeah. So when we're talking about like timing of like when we choose to go, that we're choosing to go to an auction to pull, right? Like we have animals that come in like through other avenues, right? Like we'll have owner surrenders if it's a good, if it's a fit or we're able to accommodate. We'll have ones that we'll see like Oakley where we're like, yep, you belong to the sanctuary, and we'll pull them. So there are, there's different situations, but yes, this is quarantine, when we talk about it in this way is usually when we do like an auction, a bigger pull. And the number of animals alone,
and one thing I will say too that we've used that facility for is there was a criminal case, and the humane officer seized four or five horses. Yeah. And so they needed somewhere to put them temporarily until they could figure out where to put them. And also sometimes it's like just get them out, right? Yeah. And then we'll figure out where to go. So they borrowed the quarantine facility for just a couple days. Yeah. But at least it was like they were skinny. So it was the timing of just let's get them out and we'll figure out the situation after. Yes. So we didn't have space for them to come in and stay, but the facility allowed them to go there and decompress for a couple days before they divided them back out. Yep.
Got them to a safe spot, got them someplace where they could figure out their next steps and they didn't have to stay in the environment that they were in. And it does. It plays a crucial role in that too. And we can't thank our donor enough for providing this space and the opportunity to do these things.
Like, quite literally can't thank them enough.
No, there's not enough words or gratitude in the world to express that.
No.
Well, I know there's a million other things that we could talk about with quarantine, as we mentioned, but I think for this episode, we'll leave it here on our high notes, unless you have any finishing thoughts, things you want to share.
I would just say there's times where, like, there's a desire and almost an expectation to do everything all at once for them.
Right.
And what I've told people is, like, quite literally, just be grateful they're alive right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, we could do this. We could give them a bath. We could shave them. We could do their feet. We could do that. And it's like, just wait. These animals have been through so much.
Yep.
And if you have to sedate them to do an ultrasound, and then you have to sedate them to maybe trim their feet, and then maybe you have to sedate them because they're dirty and they need to it's like, just, they're alive.
Yep.
And, like, yes, the flies may be really bad, and yes, maybe it's really hot and they don't have fans on them, but, like, at the base of it all, they survived.
Yes.
And so let them decompress, eat, and go to the bathroom and drink and decompress.
Yes.
Now, if there's, like, an emergent situation or they're in pain, we're always doing what we can.
Right.
But, like, Serafina, there was no reason to ultrasound her to see if she was pregnant while she was in quarantine. Yep. We don't need to contaminate the equipment. It's not going to change anything if she is or she isn't. We're feeding her the same way. Right. And there's no reason in sedating her in a state when she was sick. So wait until she can handle it. Right. So there are times where there's almost a push to be doing more. And it's like, yes, but only if it actually is in the best interest of the animal.
Yeah.
Because the doing more may be to satisfy the human's desire versus what is in the highest good of the animal in that moment.
Right.
And that's something that I think is, like, to bring people back to like grounded energy of, if this is in the best interest of the animal, we will do it. If not, wait. Like, Herta had a farrier out there right away. She had x-rays right away. We were, doing checks all the time with her, versus, like, Serafina's feet were kind of bad.
Yeah.
Could she walk still? Yeah. Could she handle it? Yeah. Was she uncomfortable? Probably not from her feet.
Right.
So we did a little trim on her when we were over there, but she couldn't even stand because she didn't have any muscle.
Right.
So it's like, do you put her through the trauma of trying to stand on 3 legs when she doesn't have any muscle? Or do you just say, yeah, your feet are ugly, but they're not your worst problem? So it's like, you peel the layer of the onion that is the most concerning, and then the next layer, and then the next layer. Maybe her feet aren't until, like, the 7th layer.
Right.
Where, like, Herta's feet were layer 1.
Right.
So it's just a reminder to, like, come back to, they are alive. Quite literally. And that is the basis of why we picked them, because they were not going to be.
Yep.
So sometimes that reminder just brings it back to, and it reminds me I am doing enough right now for them.
Yes.
So.
And it's such an important reminder, and it is and it's always rooted in empathy. What more can we be doing? What can we want them better right away. It is hard, and it's still hard to see when an animal's in a place of suffering. But to your point, what is their highest good? Is bringing in all these new people, all these different equipment, all these different interventions. And quite frankly, too, given the fact that we don't know their history, we don't know the full scope of everything going on, even with the veterinary exams, we're still uncovering things. If we start doing all these interventions, how do we know what's working and what's not with their systems? And can their systems even process all of that at once?
Probably not.
Probably not.
That's why it's even like Monty. It's like we're testing out what feed his body can handle.
Yeah.
And if his body can even handle grass, even 10 minutes of it a day.
Yep.
So it is definitely trial and error.
Yep. And making educated guesses. And again, I think just that grounded in what do we truly believe and feel is in the highest good of the animal in this moment.
And I would say also too, with social media, it looks different. People are like, how are Seraphina and Cornelius? It was very clear.
Yeah.
She did not want to be on social media.
She did not want to be seen.
And people may think like, well, how do you know? Like, you can't, that's a horse. Da, da, da.
Yeah.
You know. She did not, you could feel her depression. You could feel her not willing to participate. She did not want to be seen.
No.
And so for a while we didn't really post, and we don't really post a lot about her.
No.
It's been a lot of corn, and like I just put a photo up of her. She's finally, you can kind of see she's finally peeking out of willing to be seen.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's taking her so long to gain weight, is there's an energetic connection to like willing to be seen. So sometimes we also honor the animal in an energetic and emotional capacity of like, do they really want to be all over social media or not? Like Monty, truly don't feel like he wants to be on social media right now.
No.
And he's not really, he's in pictures, you know,
Yep.
but nothing like straight up in front. So it is interesting to also navigate what they desire.
Yeah. And again, we choose the tougher cases. We make that a very intentional decision, and sometimes it's giving them the space to decide, now that they're safe, do they want to stay here?
Right.
And those are tough conversations, and those are things I think with Serafina and the depression that we saw her going through and her body's, you know, unwillingness to put on weight was, are you making a decision here? Do you want to stay?
Right.
Is this what you want? And we
Yeah.
honor that deeply. The same thing happened with Rico.
Yeah.
After, because he was destined to no longer be with us, and we think in some ways had accepted that fate because they do feel it. They know, they understand.
Yeah.
They're deeply empathetic animals and individuals.
And
intuitive. Yes, intuitive. That is what I meant. Thank you. Both. But intuitive. And so for a while was probably deciding whether or not
he wanted to stay.
He wanted to stay.
Yeah.
And we hold space for that.
Yeah. And there's a whole nother layer there of understanding animals, and there's a whole nother layer there. So but in terms of quarantine, you start to learn what they desire, when they desire it, how long the quarantine is going to be, you know, all these different components of it.
Yeah.
So
what they need from you, what they desire from you at that time.
Yep.
Yeah. So well, that was a great reminder. I'm glad that you brought that up.
Yeah.
As a piece of this episode, because I do think it's an important conversation. Again, just kind of wrapping around what quarantine isn't just a space. It isn't just a procedure that we follow for, you know, preventing the spread of diseases. Like, it truly is a container for these animals to land.
It's the transition phase.
It's a liminal space in a lot of ways.
Yeah. It's like the, I can't remember the word, but it's like like decompression, processing.
Yeah.
Decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What next?
Yep.
What's next for us?
Another episode. No.
Yes, and we are continuing this.
Oh.
We are gonna, not this episode.
No.
This, we're ending this one, but we are continuing what we're doing. Look at that. See, we're still doing okay. We got a little timer going here. We're going to continue to do this. We're going to continue to build upon these podcasts and what we're doing. We appreciate all the feedback that we've received from folks about the ways in which we do appreciate it. And this is grassroots, roots, get it?
Yeah.
And back at it here.
If they could see that we have a Milwaukee light in the background.
Yes, our ring light is a Milwaukee light here.
That was used for quarantine.
It's all tied together here. But as we grow on this journey,
we'll have speakers and editing, and it'll be like
whole like glam crew, like people behind the scenes, someone raising a red flag when they're like, Megan, don't say that, or you said the F word 5 times.
Yeah, we're about to.
Yeah, I almost did.
Yeah, I said F.
Yeah,
my parents will be proud of me.
Yeah. I almost said you said that where it just flows off the tongue. It's really.
We'll do that when we talk about auction.
Yes, that's inappropriate. We'll give a little warning at the beginning.